Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out of the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy, and we're back. Before we get started, definitely want to offer prayers to the family of DeMar Hamlin. Everybody's talked about it by now. One of the most horrifying things I think most people have ever seen on a football field and on TV. Prayers for a speedy recovery, and we hope that hopefully that this will end up being a positive that brings about some positive changes for football and people's I guess thoughts on life in general. Right, Luffy?
Yeah, for sure. They're really scary. I mean, no one on the broadcast had seen anything like that, so it's like the first time that's really ever happened, I guess. But yeah, thoughts and prayers for sure to him and his family.
Yep. We have a packed show for you guys. We are going to recap LSU's beatdown of Purdue and Drew Brees in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. It felt great, honestly. Like, it felt great to just watch this LSU team have fun. Don't Cheez-Its everywhere. The Cheez-Its, we're going to talk about that as well. That needs to stay. Big fan of the Cheez-Its. Not sure how I feel about the Cheez-It room that Garrett Nussmeier Stadium. But other than that, everything just filled with cheese. The Gatorade bottle, the cheese, I guess, couch cushion in the end zone.
Yeah, bed.
It was phenomenal. We are recording this while we are keeping tabs on the LSU Kentucky game at Rupp Arena. LSU starting to slip a little bit. It's like what
Down 10 now.
Oh, good. Well, good thing the spread's 10.5. So
Yeah.
spread's 10.5. LSU is built for a comeback. I don't know how true that is, but you and I went to the basketball game. I believe last
the Arkansas game.
Last week we went to Arkansas. Big win.
Yeah, we called it on the pod too.
Yep. We're going to recap that. And then I'm telling you, dude, now that the first of the year has hit, my baseball itch is tingling. We might have to we're going to tease a couple guests that we might get on in the coming weeks to get everybody ready for baseball season. But like we said, packed show for you guys. Can't wait to get to it. Before we get to it, I want to give a huge shout out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. Blaine Loop is my man. He is a great friend, neighbor, co-host, and real estate agent. Make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Blaine is not just a guy that's dabbling in real estate for a couple years. Blaine wants to be your agent for life. Blaine loves the real estate game, and he could not be happier helping you out, finding the home of your dreams, selling the old home of your dreams, buy the new home of your dreams, finding somewhere to rent, or finding somebody to rent out your investment property. Make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Also, huge shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network. Catch them on social media at Boot Crew Media. We're gonna have to get on Chris Calderera to get back on the article train. Maybe he's taking a little break after LSU football season, but I know he's going to put out some fire content on bootcrewmedia.com for LSU baseball season and on social media at Boot Crew Media. James.
Yes.
63-7. LSU smashes the cover over Purdue, smashes the over by themselves.
Biggest bowl game margin of victory ever. Did you know that?
And what was the one before that?
Probably.
They said it on the broadcast.
Probably.
Or no, it was the biggest halftime lead of any bowl game since 2019.
LSU, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to guess.
Yes. You got it. You got it. I gave you the kind of the hint that it was LSU. And then you went back to the greatest team in college football history, which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, the game was nice and boring. You know, how we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be boring, and
I was not bored at all.
It
was electric.
Yeah, boring from the game was in jeopardy standpoint, but you saw the quarterbacks rotate. Both Nuss and Jaden Daniels started the game, but
we had four quarterbacks play.
Yeah, we had four quarterbacks play, including Malik Neighbors, who was 2 for 2 with 50 yards and a touchdown. Perfect QBR. Jaden Daniels was 12 for 17 for a buck 40, a touchdown, no picks. Nuss was 11 for 15 for 173, 2 touchdowns, and then that pick he threw in the end zone. And Walker Howard was 2 for 4 for 7 yards. He kind of got in with the kind of hard to judge his performance. I don't think any scholarship receivers were playing. Backup, kind of a second team run, maybe third team run for him. But
that is extra garbage.
he did have that little burst of run,
which was nice.
Nice. And then, so I thought both quarterbacks played well. I think you can see, why people will call for Nuss at times because he makes those throws that we haven't really seen Jaden make. But Jaden was really good with the ball. He protects the ball. He makes smart decisions. He's also an elusive runner. I think he ran for like 60 yards. Yeah, 67 yards. And, you can see still, I think, why Jaden Daniels will be the starter going into next year. But thought everyone played really well. Obviously, Malik Neighbors, MVP, 163 receiving, a touchdown along a 75 where he really just turned on the burners. Mason Taylor had a good game. Brian Thomas caught a touchdown. And Kyron Lacey also got in the mix with 2 catches. So that was the offense was really clicking. The offensive line dominated them. And that they should have. We were hoping to see that kind of in our preview because we wanted to see this offensive line take the next step with more reps together as the freshmen grow, and they looked the part.
Yeah, and just to go off of that, I mean the running game looked good as well. Like LSU, like I boring is not the word I would have used to describe this game. Like seeing LSU just rip it was incredible. You had Noah Kane running hard. You had John Emery. Hopefully both those guys will be back next year and be healthy. And even the young guys, Jaden Daniels had some good runs here and there.
And LSU threw for 369, but 75 was that basically run play that they ran to Neighbors. If you take that away, you put that on the rushing total, they ran for 300 and they threw for about 300. So pretty balanced attack there, to your point, John.
Yeah. And just to see Brian Kelly like finally call some trick plays. We didn't run a lot of trick plays this year.
No.
We did. Man, I can't remember for the life of me. The only thing that I felt negative about this game was in the first quarter, there was a couple drops, which whatever, right? Yeah. And then there was one thing on special teams that we did. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was on special teams. I believe LSU was lining up to punt.
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm gonna look it up because that was the one thing where I feel like if I reminded you, you'd be like, oh yeah, that was the one thing besides everything else that transpired in this boring game. But anyway, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna look it up because it doesn't matter because we killed them.
Yeah.
We beat Drew Brees. Not many people can say that. They beat Drew Brees.
Yeah, poor Drew. He didn't really have much of a chance in that game. It finally looked like they were going to score, and we got an interception on that one drive where Converse picked it off. Greg Brooks had a pick, and then shout out Quad Wilson, 99-yard kick return or interception return, and that's Frank Wilson's son.
That's cool.
So pretty cool. You saw the whole team basically dogpiled him after he ran that back. You could see them having fun. And I texted you and Rory this, but the team looked like they were having fun. And Brian Kelly understands bowl games in 2023 that are not playoff games. They're meant to be fun games where you can practice hard during the week, but the guys can still have fun. But you can still go out and execute the game plan. That doesn't take away from the joy of it. And then they called 2 passes for Neighbors, and he said he had no problem with them celebrating in the end zone. You could tell that he understands what bowl games are supposed to be. And the team it seems like they had fun. It seemed like this was a team that really liked each other. And I think that could be undervalued. I know we don't have Rory here to talk about that locker room presence, but everyone got involved, and that was good to see.
It was the usual suspects, I mean, yeah. We it's bad whenever we're sitting here, like, it's a beat down and everybody's participating and playing well when we haven't even gotten to Harold Perkins putting pressure. Greg Brooks had a great game.
Yeah, and it's good to see Greg Brooks is coming back for next year. Yeah, and shout out also to all the guys that stuck around, all the seniors that stuck around and played their last game. I think it was Micah Baskerville who had a good game. Jay Ward played. Who else am I missing, John?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones played. I know I'm missing some more guys here. I'm just going blank on. Oh, Joe Fouché played. So a lot of guys or a couple guys that stuck around, which is rare, to some degree these days. But like Brian Kelly said, the tape that Micah Baskerville put up and Joe Fouché, who had 4 tackles as well, is almost, more important than, running a better 40 time. So, Jay Ward. So there was a lot of guys who stuck it out and decided to play, in this game. And Jared Bernard Converse, who was crucial. I tweeted out crucial to this season, where we could have lost maybe 2 more games without him. And you saw us struggle against A&M without him. So, shout out to all those guys.
Dude,
it's good to send them off on a nice note.
Dude, I'm looking at, and this was right about when it happened, but shout out Glenn West. Because immediately whenever the special teams, I'm going to find it. He said couldn't be an LSU game without this special teams. So I'm trying to remember, but it's just bothering me now. I don't really even care that it happened, but I guess heading into the offseason, I guess that's something I kind of wanted to talk about was, and we've talked about before is will they make a move with special teams, whether it be.
Was it us punting? Because we only punted once in the first half.
No, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm sorry. This horrible podcasting. But no, all that to say, heading into the offseason, I don't think there's any more of like a jetpack you can take leading into the offseason, getting your 10th win of the year, going to Orlando, having an absolute ball, trick plays, Cheez-Its, 63-7. Brian Kelly happy when you're getting excessive celebration penalties. Like it's all in perspective for this LSU team, and a jump start. It's like jumping your car off. It's like one of the greatest feelings ever when the engine finally turns over. Sure. It's like you feel this life being revived into this program that was in jeopardy for a while.
Yeah, I mean, to turn the culture around that fast with all new staff, pretty much all new staff. I think we had less than 10 guys out of the 70 to 80 assistants and people that work in that building, and 30 players. So pretty incredible job to get people to buy into the culture that early on. That's, I think, rare to be able to do that, but that speaks to his experiences, and we're going to have to fill some holes on the defensive side going into next year. But I think the big thing that we got to have to talk about to end this game and kind of in the season is the quarterback room as a whole and how that looks going forward into the spring and then into the fall. So Brian Kelly did say that he expects all 3 quarterbacks to go through spring.
That was my next question.
And that's a good thing. I mean, if they're all 3 going to say through spring and compete, that's just going to push Nuss is just going to push Jaden and Walker Howard as well. I think that Nuss will probably, if he doesn't win the job or isn't maybe like promised the starting job going into the fall, then you would see him maybe transfer. I hope that he doesn't. I think it'd be awesome if he stayed. Jaden played 1 more year. And I mean, Nuss played a lot this year, even with Jaden as the starter when he went down for injuries. I mean, we saw a lot of Garrett Nussmeier. And I think that it would be amazing to have them both back and Walker Howard back next year. But I think that Nuss does leave, and that probably leaves you with Walker Howard going into the fall as the backup quarterback.
Yeah. And
that's just my guess. I have no inside information. That's just what I'm guessing is going to happen.
I'm right there with you with that pass that Nussmeier threw on one of his first drives in a quarterback to Neighbors and he dropped it was the most beautiful pass we've seen from LSU, this year. and he shows this gunslinger mentality, and it's just unfortunate. Like, this is actually like a really good debate that LSU football fans have had to have, whether Jaden Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier should be the guy going forward. I think everybody agrees that Walker Howard is the future, but the debate is not who has the most stereotypical quarterback, I guess, personality and actions. It's who is the best option taking the snaps for LSU
to win games.
Yeah. And I believe Brian Kelly got it right this year. Jaden Daniels was the guy, and I believe going forward, another year to build, another year to watch film, to get more comfortable in the pocket, for Brian Kelly to work with him. People can say what they want about Jaden Daniels going to be a fifth year, but Jaden Daniels didn't have Brian Kelly coaching him for 4 years.
The experience of Jaden, I think, is what will give him the nod again. And look, he threw for the third most passing yards in LSU history this year. That just goes to show you the quarterback woes we had over that Les Miles era. And so, he certainly is not one of the, worst quarterbacks we've had. I mean, he was a really good quarterback this year, but even passing, he wasn't one of the worst passers we've had. I mean, he third at all-time LSU in yards. So I think Jaden will continue to improve, and I think he'll be, a Heisman contender next year.
Yes. So I think that about puts a button pretty much on the Citrus Bowl. I don't even think it's really, I guess, necessary for us to talk about the takeaways. I guess for the season, we know what's in front of us. We know what's at stake. We have all the confidence in the world in Brian Kelly and what he's going to do. I mean, I think we can just pretty much end the season and say that LSU woke up feeling the cheesiest and woke up pissed off. So
John's currently transferring his room. He's gone down to Orlando. He's filled up a U-Haul, and he's bringing Garrett Nussmeier's entire Cheez-It room back to his own bedroom.
Dude, if I was like 10,
you need that chain, John.
If I was 10, I would have loved
that Cheez-It chain.
Oh yeah,
that'd look great on you.
Dude, I'd wear the costume.
You just wear that to work.
Cheez-It box. Cheez-It, arguably, I used to, and we can get into this if you want. I doubt you're gonna want to because there's other sports to talk about. But I used to have the hot take that cheese nips were better than Cheez-Its.
See, I don't know. I don't even know if I've even had that many like cheese nips. I feel like I just always had Cheez-It, or maybe I didn't even notice.
See, well, there is a distinct difference, but I will say,
I know I've had
Cheez-Its.
That was like a science fair project someone did.
Which one tastes better?
I don't remember. Yeah, it was like there's like 3 different brands. It was like some other Costco brand or off brand too.
Goldfish?
No, I don't know. Oh well.
Triscuits?
I don't know.
I don't know. No, all I had to say, woke up feeling the cheesiest and woke up pissed off. That's it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tory Carter.
Shout out Workbox LLC. John eats too many Cheez-Its. He ends up in one of Workbox's porta potties. They're the cleanest in the business. We were at ZZ's watching the LSU game. John was scared to come, and they had a bathroom problem. Martine immediately hooked them up with porta potties. They were clean. They were better than the actual indoor bathrooms. Call Workbox LLC. It's 225-343-4886. If you need a storage container, portable office, portable restroom rental, roll-off dumpster. If you're doing your house after you buy it from Blaine, call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886.
All right. LSU basketball. Let's get an update. I know it doesn't really matter because the
58-62.
58-62.
So we got to hurry up.
Covering. All right. So let's talk about last week.
Really fun game. We made it ugly for them, and Arkansas was without their best player, so that helped us out. And look, if we're going to win games, I think they're going to have to be in the 60s games in the SEC. I think if games start getting to the 70s, you can tell we have a lack of scoring, and I think a lack of size in the SEC will hurt us. It was hurting us a little bit tonight versus Kentucky, but this team competes, and look, Matt McMahon's done a good job getting them ready to compete and go out to the games. It was a blast. So
It really was.
it was
The
a big
PMAC
win to get people back excited about basketball.
The PMAC was electric.
And Trey Hannibal was
school
was
wasn't
all.
even in.
Yeah, and
that was my
Trey
next
Hannibal
thing.
going to the hole, laying it up, looked really good. He was a big part of that win, and he plays a lot of guys. I think he's still kind of trying to figure out who can play in the SEC, and hopefully we can be a middle of the pack team and try to push to make the tournament, even though they'll probably suspend us if we get into the tournament that week before.
One thing I have heard, and you literally said it right before we started recording while we were watching, is like the difference that you're seeing. Not to say Matt McMahon is just like leaps and bounds a better coach. To be honest with, I'll be straight up very
It's
honest.
different offense for sure.
I don't know enough about basketball to really know and recognize the movement, but you do kind of see it. Like they are on offense, at least. We are rotating a lot more and we're getting the ball to different players. Now, our shooting from the field has not been great thus far. Adam Miller's kind of struggled.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Hannibal. He's
a bowling ball. Goes to the hole. There's no other better way to describe him than a bowling ball.
Dude, if I was Brian Kelly, I'd be calling him to suit up at running back.
And
right?
KJ Williams at tight end.
Exactly. And Matt McMahon is a special teams coordinator.
Yeah. I think he actually did play some running back in college. Let me check real quick.
McMahon?
Not Matt McMahon. Trey Hannibal. But, yeah, I mean, you can tell the defense is really active. Their all-state running back who joins the varsity basketball team after the playoffs and immediately walks on to the starting lineup and gets 15 a game per Cody Worsham. So I guess he played running back, and then they put him on the basketball team, and he just started going off. So you can tell Trey's strength going to the basket is important in the SEC when you're going up against the quality athletes that they will be going up against. But I think the team finishes, middle of the pack SEC fringe tournament team. Then he's done a damn good job in his first year.
Like we see and like we've seen with Brian Kelly, you can just see there is potential.
Yeah,
like it's. Sometimes it's obvious when a new coach gets hired. I don't know, like Nathaniel Hackett. Mm-hmm. That dude just wasn't going to figure it out. Matt McMahon didn't have anyone on scholarship.
0 players.
They said that on the broadcast. They had 0 scholarship players in April, I believe, when he was hired.
Yeah, another complete rebuild. So
and we could sit here and shout out Kim Walke every single episode, but the Lady Tigers are rolling as well.
Yeah, undefeated.
So, an exciting, very exciting time to be an LSU basketball fan. Get out to the PMAC, like you said, Luffy. Luffy, actually, if you get out to the PMAC, Luffy has a secret beer spot. In the PMAC that he showed me, and I will always go there for beers at the PMAC. So, shout out LSU basketball as a whole. Rocking the PMAC. So, all right. Move on to
Quick House Always Wins.
Quick House Always Wins segment.
So
about the House Barn Tiger.
Yeah, shout out Jeff, newly engaged. Shout out Jeff. Shout out Casey. Was playing tennis with Casey the other day. Phenomenal athlete. You might not look at him and think phenomenal athlete, but he is.
I always thought that.
Yeah, John. But you have a good eye for talent.
I do.
So I'm saying not everybody might not think that, but a guy like you recognize the talent immediately.
I'm a selective talent finder.
You go out to House in Tigerland, you see Casey, you see Jeff, 2 freak athletes running the bar. They're the best. Go to House in Tigerland.
And shout out to DraftKings with the House Always Wins segment. You need the DraftKings Sportsbook to lock in your bets. The official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media. Enter promo code BOOT. Bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code BOOT. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. 21 plus restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right. Last week
we faked y'all out with the Jets. Sorry if you listened before, John.
Okay.
Rory made an executive decision, changed our pick. It was
Rory gets the override because
he tweets the picks.
Roy tweets the picks, and he's a father. So
Yes.
the father,
Yes,
he's
that
the
is
man of
true.
the house.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so Rory changed it to Packers and the over, which that was plus 195. We're back in this thing in our competition. 2 back-to-back weeks. We've gone all in, 5 units on a bet. We will be doing that again this week, and Rory will be tweeting out the pick. So you have to be ready to get that thing from there. I'll try to throw it up on the Instagram if he posts the pick early enough, but be ready. Rory's watching last-minute live movements, staying up all night, and checking to make sure he gets in the best bet for us to try to win this competition.
Was it the Fouché targeting call? I've been searching Twitter. I've gone to every LSU beat reporter.
I don't know. We were kind of talking and stuff during the game, so I didn't miss like a play or two there since it was kind of a blowout. But
I've literally hit every single one. I don't know. You know how like
something happened where Brian Kelly was yelling at Brian Polian. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that and Brian Kelly, shut up. And that was something, I don't know if it was you or Roy that tweeted it, but Brian Kelly was lighting into the officials.
35-0.
Up
Yeah, that was me.
35-0. It was,
yeah.
It's honestly like, but then
I love it.
But then he doesn't freak out on his players. Like, he talks about instilling trust and like relationships and long lasting relationships with his players. And that's how you do it, by having their back, regardless whether you're up 35, down 35, whether it's in Tiger Stadium against Bama, whether it's in the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando, whether it's against New Mexico and you're beating them 38-0. I mean, it's tangible what he's doing. Like, you can actually see
no doubt
what he's doing. So, all right, we got to go watch the end of this game. Luffy's sweating out his bet. Go ahead. What you got?
I'd like to win the game, but
Thanks.
like you said, we have some big baseball guests coming up.
Yes.
To preview the season. LSU ranked number 1 preseason, so
yes,
get fired up for baseball.
I'll go ahead and tease a few names that I will be hitting up. I have talked to a couple of these guys and
tease those names
and know that they I think they had a good time last time they came on. We're gonna hit up Jared Foster.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna hit up Chris Reed,
beat reporter. Chris,
Lovey's got some recruiting beef he needs to settle with Chris Reed. To be fair, I don't even know what it's about.
Whenever he tweeted it, I was like, this is gonna backfire on him immediately. So apparently he didn't tweet it out. We'll have to ask him about that. We'll investigate.
Did he get hacked?
He said like one of his friends like got on the thing and did it. If that's true, that's hilarious. But
okay. Also shout out as I'm scrolling the 7th LSU beat reporter Twitter, the stickers on the helmet for Mike Leach. That was very cool. And that wasn't just LSU. That was all throughout the country. And I do think in this 30 minutes that it's taken us to record, I think I am getting to the point where it must have been the Joe Fouché targeting, right?
Yes,
that had to be it.
They reviewed it though, right? And it was
right, and then they called it off. But maybe that was it. In the moment, I was like upset about it, but then I realized that we were kicking the crap out of them. So, and LSU was having a great game. But this has been a very, very kind of sad episode, because we don't have
no
LSU
more
football
until
the next fall. So,
and hit me up if you want me to put up an Instagram poll. I like to do the polls kind of in the off season too, while people are hungry for football and spring practice questions, anything. I'll throw it up.
And Luffy is going to keep us abreast of all of the LSU recruiting news,
transfer portal, which we might have some news next week. So
yes, so I think that about does it for the House Always Wins segment in our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. Shout out to all of our great sponsors, the Boot Crew Media Network, Blaine Lube with Keller Williams Realty. Also want you to know the Keller Williams and Eagle Opportunity Housing Partner, each office independently owned and operated, DraftKings, the House Bar in Tigerland, and Workbox LLC. Lovey, it's been a pleasure doing business with you, and I can't wait to do some more business with you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, brother.